Hi all and welcome back. We're going to get into a bit of intel. In essence, more intel will follow later. And perhaps people will gain a greater understanding and perspective of what is real, what is not, what is important and what isn't. Well, Mr. Trump has been on the round the world trip, which was all laid on by the clowns, all the ego boosting pomp, not stance, with a goal to try and get him to sign off on historical bonds, or as Kim calls them, hysterical bonds. They're hilariously funny and in equal terms not so funny because it's beyond stupid. So they tried to get Trump in Japan to sign off on hysterical bonds, which are actually not worth jack shit. Sorry, they're just not. And Trump said no. Now, Citibank got cited for the fallout after that, after he did not sign in Japan. And subsequently, Citigroup Inc. was suspended from the primary group of dealers that participate in certain Japanese government bond auctions after it was found to have manipulated future prices. And this was another strike against the lender's market business in Asia. And the Ministry of Finance ordered Citigroup Global Markets Japan Inc. exclusion from participating in non-price competitive auctions and certain other government bond sales from today's date. Now, the suspension, and I suspect that suspension is expected to last for a month. I suspect it will go on longer and be permanent. It comes days after the Financial Services Agency had fined the firm 133 million yen, which is about $1.2 million, and ordered it to improve internal controls for failing to detect instances of manipulation of the Japanese government bond market. Now, what it was found is Citigroup was found to have placed orders last October for JGB future contracts without intending to execute them, a practice known as spoofing. Trump then went on to the UK, and all the pomp was laid on there also. And he was told to sign off on the historical bonds, and he told them to go away. This has caused much consternation within the realms of the clowns and outright panic. Now, generally what happens when events of that nature fail to materialise, a major public head figure will roll and face that consequences, following the failure to get Trump to sign off on the historical bonds. I referenced one person last week in a funny term. Perhaps you can all go and listen and then put two and two together. So what are historical bonds? Well, essentially, bonds are created during wartime, and they are IOUs, in essence, promise to pay the bearer. And it doesn't just happen to be war as we know it, where it means cowardly people drop bombs from 30,000 feet on people who don't deserve it. It involves any other reference with the term war, like the war on terror, which doesn't actually exist, but that then creates bonds. War on drugs also creates bonds, which they cash in and leverage beyond hysterical levels. Now these old bonds were cashed in and or reconciled to the various families who held them, who were the then trustees of that nation. So the Habsburgs and all the other family lines, all of them were cashed out by one family or another when the system itself was transferred over to digital back in 1978. Although there is some evidence of some families cashing out bonds belonging to other trustees and or nations as well. No surprise there, the snake eats the snake. So all of them were cashed in prior to 1978, and yet we still have families connected to Anna von Reitz, Fulford, Langley 2, agents trying to go round and collect on these bonds. They're all finished, gone. You know, I know you don't believe us and you'll carry on trying to cash them like you've carried on for near 2 decades trying to wait for the RV. You've all been duped. We've told you this time and time again. Kim has told you thousands of times. Each and every one of the so-called establishment, as they call themselves, have been duped. You either accept it and move on and come and join us in correcting the ills of this world, or you're going to suffer badly. It's that simple. We're not playing your game anymore. We don't have to. We never had to begin with. You're not in control anymore. It's only the illusion. And less people are falling for the illusion.